Let me guess. You're trying to find the perfect video to watch while having dinner, or breakfast, or brushing your teeth. And you almost gave up, and you're about to watch the video you watched already 100 times. But for some reason, YouTube showed you this one, and you clicked on it. How do I know this? Because I'm you. This happens to me every single day. And also every single day, we're having to make thousands of decisions. And if you're like me, you overthink every single one of them and feel a little bit silly and dumb about at least a couple. You replay arguments in your head that you are now winning, and there's no end to it. There's no balance. It's either thinking way too much about everything or not at all. And also, if you're a little bit like me, you're about to click off this video right now. Don't do it. You made the decision. Stick with it. We're in this together. I find it extremely difficult to even make the smallest decisions, like picking a movie. And look, imagine you have two choices of movies. There's a 50-50 chance you make a good decision and watch the movie that excites you more. Now imagine you have 100 movies to choose from. Now your chance of picking the movie that feels right to you is only 1%. Or in other words, there's a 99% chance you're making the wrong decision. I'm convinced that's one of the reasons why TikTok or Reels is our comfort zone. We don't have to make a decision. It just pops up. It's there. And we scroll to the next one. And if we did not like something, what's there to lose? Maybe 30 seconds of our life, and then we switch on to the next one, and we don't have to make any decisions. There's no regret there. There's no wrong decision to make. Remember also cable TV. The only decision you could make was what station to watch. What was on at that time, that decision was made already by other people weeks in advance. And then that time, we hated it. We thought that's a curse that we could not rewatch something we really liked or we missed it. To be honest, I think that curse was actually a blessing. We just didn't know. We wanted all the decision in the world and we got it. Now, with a streaming service, there's basically infinite decisions to make. So your percentage of making the right choice is basically zero. There's no way you're making the good decision. I was cleaning the house and I wanted to listen to some music. So I chose to listen to music because who doesn't like music? After a while, no, that doesn't feel that's not the vibe right now. Let me choose a podcast. And took a while. Then I found a podcast I liked and I listened to it. And then I was no, I'm also not into that right now. Let me grab an audiobook and listen to that. And I was enjoying it. And while I was thinking about it, while I was listening, I thought, wow, why they never made a show out of this book? That would be perfect. They never choose these good books to make shows of. And these shows that are really good and really funny and really thought of, they get cancelled every single time. One of my go-to shows that I can rewatch always is Last Man on Earth. Perfect show for me. People always talk about Game of Thrones and how the story is and how the character arcs and how they develop. In my opinion, Last Man on Earth, way better. There's so good writing there. And what do? The last season just ends in a cliffhanger because they cancelled it last minute. And they couldn't bring the show to a good end. Why is that always happening to good shows? I hate it. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, cleaning the house. Well, now 5 hours later, better do it tomorrow. Back to topic. The core insight is we always want to choose better and never want to settle with good. We always want to think more. And overthinking is, if we think more, there's a better outcome. And we will have a better solution. And that's not good enough what we already thought about. Our solution is not good enough. If we think more, there's a better one. But we have to lower our expectations. If our expectations are on the floor, everything that's slightly above it feels like a win. Sounds a little bit negative, but stay with me. I worked in customer service basically my whole life. And I'm always really bubbly and talkative and happy, even from the get-go with customers. And everybody that ever worked in customer service knows there are shitty people out there. And whenever I was super bubbly, super happy, lively, and there was a shitty person there, I was super disappointed. That ruined my whole day. And my wife told me, like, maybe start from a neutral point. If they're also really nice, go to your happy, bubbly place. If they're shitty, stay neutral. That way, you cannot get disappointed or annoyed or angry or whatever. Imagine you're at a restaurant with your friends or your family and you're trying to decide where to eat. Instead of asking them, hey, what's your favorite restaurant? Let's go there. Everybody tell me your favorite restaurant. Probably you will end up with a lot of solutions and still can't settle on a restaurant. Instead, ask them, hey, would you mind going for Chinese? Is that way? It's way more likely that you probably settle on orange chicken. More often than not, it is important to just make any decision and not what's the best decision. The Columbia University, they conducted the research and they asked people about their retirement plans. And they found the more options people had about their retirement plans, the less likely they chose any. And we can all agree having a retirement plan is pretty important. In another example is, there was an ad in Germany from Aldi about them having not so much options in their supermarkets. I mean, that's how they keep the prices down. And they made it, I don't know the product anymore. My example now is mayo. They had a family not being able to decide, okay, what do we pick? Which mayo do we pick? There's so many options. This, I don't know, like this has like Chipotle. This is like the low-fat version. Oh, I like this brand better than this, blah, blah, blah. And then they went to Aldi and they just had mayo. That's it. So they grabbed that one and left. They did not buy any mayo in the other shop with the 30 different types of mayo. Point is, analysis paralysis is a real thing. When you're having way too many options, it's more likely that you choose none of them. And that's not really a good thing. Let me also be very clear what not to do about this. And that is kind of the two things. One is kind of like this weird alpha male, you just have to suffer and we are basically brute forcing our way through it, and you just have to go 9 times a day to the gym and wake up at 4 a.m. and listen to a self-help book at like 3 times the speed. You know that. You know that's bullshit. That's not working. That's just giving you weird, toxic masculinity stuff, and they also want to sell your course. At the same time, all this toxic positivity and you just have to smile your way out of your problem also doesn't really work, because they always come from the angle of you just have to think of your favorite job and becoming a millionaire, and then you will be a millionaire. You don't have to do anything else but think about it. And that's not a practical solution. So what I found through researching it, through watching YouTube videos and through doing it myself, is something called morning pages. It's done by forgot her name. But it works because you write down every single morning 3 pages of whatever comes to your head. Doesn't matter if it's correctly spelled or makes sense even. And you will see that maybe the problem you had is really silly, written down in 3 pages, or you will see the underlying problem that was maybe there because you wrote it down and you emptied basically everything was in your head out. So you stopped the overthinking by just putting it on paper. Also, I have to take back a little bit from the toxic positivity, just without the toxic. And that is something I talk a little bit about in another video, and that's telling you in a summary that you've got this. Because, overthinking a problem and trying to think yourself out of something and getting the best solution by just thinking harder makes no sense. It's illogical. And so is telling yourself that you're great. It's illogical. But it also works. Not in the weird toxic positivity way that if you just think about it hard enough, you will wake up a millionaire tomorrow. But it took a long, long time of overthinking for you to be in this situation. We started this because at some point it helped you in your life. But it turned into a very, very bad habit over time. Because at some point you thought about something and you found a solution, but you're not good enough at yet. You feel this is not the best solution. You try to think more. At that point, you're not thinking about the solution anymore. You're thinking about the problem. And that becomes a spiral. So maybe you have to think positive about something. Like, you got this. This is a good solution. This is an okay enough solution. Don't be discouraged. It took years to be at this point where you are right now, where you overthink everything. So it will take a long time and a lot of practice to get out of it. But I know you've got this, because talking to yourself in the mirror and telling you you're good feels silly, feels irrational, but so's overthinking. So better pick the more healthy option and stick with it. And believe me, I'm doing the same. We're in this together. We've got this. Have a wonderful day and see you next time. And we got this.